Hello, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about what causes sickness. I think that in relegating it specifically to a physical nature or physicality, um, we lose the original expression of what this is. This expression, I'm saying, is something that is continuous regardless of culture, regardless of time period, regardless of situation. It is something that is collectively true as, as well as personally true. It's something that kind of stands the test of time, and to the degree that we offend this kind of call it situation, it is the more people get sick. Um, and the rise of it in its many forms start to populate the world and the people, and we have this kind of dysfunction happening where we're always trying to cure things that have causes that we're not 100% sure of or where they originally came from. So, again, this is my way of defining this from a self care perspective, looking at the kind of thread that self care embodies, which is a kind of bringing together of multiple things. We consider this holistic, but in a different sense, in a proactive way, um, and not just proactive in the sense of currently. This is proactive, essentially dealing with what's happening today and what has happened in the past, and then essentially what will happen in the future, knowing that always the future is made up of what originates in the past or present. Now, that being said, let's get down to this definition of sickness, or this thing that causes sickness. Well, if we're going to keep it true to self care and keep it in the mental, physical, and emotional realm of things, I define sickness as a person departing from the truth, essentially, of reality. Now, that being said, do we have to know exactly what reality is to be affected by the, or to gain, or to be sick, or become sick? Not really. We do have absolute truths that we abide by, one being our version of gravity. If you jump, you will return back to the ground. Those kind of things. Those are a quick example of what I'm talking about. Not the best example, but it gives you an idea. So in this way, again, the things that are suppressed in our subconscious are subconscious holding all of reality. And what our personality is what we take out of that reality, or we build ourselves around a reality that becomes our character, either way you want to say it. What happens is when the person starts to live a style of life that strays too far from what sustains human health, then we have an illness that must occur. This occurring illness signifies the fact that we're moving away from a certain truth or the truth of nature, any way you want to call it. And moving away from that, there has to be a symptom. This symptom essentially giving us the idea that we need to move back towards this healthy environment for humans. Now, there are many different expressions of this. This happens essentially in situations where there is a judgment, let's say. So I'm going to use my old analogy with being stuck in traffic. If you know you have to be at work at 8 o'clock, you leave your house regular time, and you didn't account for traffic and you're late. You start flying through traffic, you start getting stressed out, the pressure's on, you start feeling bad for not being there, you feel like you failed, these kind of things kind of happen. And if, though, you didn't put that judgment on the reality, I am just stuck in traffic, there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way it is. Normally I'm on time, and just today is not going to be possible. You can see there's way less stress. It must be in accordance to something. Why so much less pressure on the individual? These things, you might say, are stemmed around beliefs. This is true. Beliefs are something that are built up of how we view life, which are a way of navigating life. If this belief strays too far from, again, the reality of what sustains a human individual, that environment, then again we get a buildup of some kind of illness. This can be mental in nature, if the straying away from reality is a mental thing. It can be physical in nature, where the body becomes impacted on this thing. We know that the kind of subconscious holds the factors that we're not aware of. So we might not be 100% aware of what the truth is, if you want to call it something, but our emotions, in a sense, will guide us if we know how to navigate emotions. I'm not going to get all into that in this video. And our physical body does or is bound to the truth of the world that we live in. So if you touch something that's hot, it will burn you, that kind of thing. The body will not deny the fact that it burns you, you get burnt. You might mentally start to shift away from that. And that mental shift might, well, it's not that bad, it's not so hot, I've been burnt before, this is nothing. This ability to choose something different than the body sensation is great for creativity and adaptation and growth and powerful change. However, it also has the aspect of moving away from those things, putting us in a position where we are kind of stuck, and this stuckness again creates pressure, stress. The stress again tries to motivate you to go back to that environment of health, what sustains life for a healthy individual, a human, and essentially this game gets played back and forth in many different expressions. But the idea is simply that sickness is caused by the moving away from the truth essentially of realities in our subconscious. Our subconscious uses emotions, dreams, and different expressions in that sense, symbolism, to kind of speak to us without decoding exactly what it is to do. So it still becomes a choice. It's a thing that we have to follow and come to the conclusion of, and then weigh it for, is it positive in nature or negative in nature? Has it made me a better person in a true fulfilling way, or is it just a mirage of the real thing, not quite what we're looking for? Do I have to do it all the time? Do I have to continue to consume this whatever it is so that I feel happy and good and upbeat? Or is it something that I kind of have about myself, and whether the weather is hot or cold, I can still remain even temperatured, if you want to call it something. So I think that this is where it all comes from, and when that thing is violated, we have different expressions of this violation, whether emotionally, mentally, and physically. If we partake in this thing too long, it starts to dysregulate these systems. Originally, they're very fine-tuned and in balance. As we kind of take on the pressures of our history placed on us going through life today, and we kind of think that in being able to kind of survive through what life is now, we're able to be healthy. This is incorrect. There's already the pressure there. So we're fighting towards health from the very beginning. In fact, if you're not doing anything for your health, then we know you're moving away from health, right? Because that's the kind of tide that we're in. So knowing that, we have to navigate this thing from a completely different standpoint. And at the very beginning, our emotions, mind, and body are very in tuned. We dysregulate them. When they're dysregulated, we make decisions that compromise health. We compromise health long enough, we get sick. We're sick, we try to fix it. Lots of times it can work because we've been creative in other aspects, or people have been creative for us and then have come up with solutions to this challenge. But originally, it has to start somewhere. And that starts at the very beginning, and I think is in this area that I have suggested. Now, this is a theory. There are definitely proofs for all these parts that I've put together. However, this might be one of the first times it's been stated in this sense. This again is from a self-care standpoint. So Keeping all that in mind, I invite comments, concerns, additional improvements, people that want to work on this theory and concept, support it or deny it. Either way, I'll learn, and we'll kind of continue in that fashion. So you can leave comments, questions, concerns below, or contact me, and we can really dive into this thing to try to better our way of pursuing health for the future generations. Thank you.